In late 2026, the heavyweight division is scheduled to deliver the fight fans have been waiting for: Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Before that legacy-defining showdown can happen, Tyson Fury has to get past Marius Wok in a preliminary bout in Thailand. That creates a highly precarious situation. These interim fights alone are keeping a nine-figure deal alive. If either man loses their tune-up, the mega fight evaporates instantly. For Joshua, that roadblock comes on July 25th in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. He steps into the ring against a relatively unknown Albanian heavyweight named Kristian Prenga. Stepping through those ropes in Jeddah forces Joshua onto a $100 million tightrope, where any lapse in concentration erases years of negotiation. To understand this specific matchup, we have to look back at his last appearance. At Wembley Stadium, Daniel Dubois completely dominated the action, dropping Joshua multiple times before securing a brutal fifth-round knockout. That violent finish immediately resurrected a chorus of critics, questioning Joshua's chin and his ability to weather power punches from elite-level heavyweights. Compounding that ring trauma is a severe off-canvas emotional toll. Anthony Joshua is returning to competition shortly after a horrific car crash that claimed the lives of his close friends. Add to that the physical realities of aging. At 36 years old, after a decade of absorbing damage, at the absolute pinnacle of boxing, his physical margin for error is shrinking. Joshua is battling intense psychological grief and the natural physical decline of a veteran athlete. A highly controlled, carefully managed return to the ring is his only viable option. Enter Kristian Prenga. On a promotional poster, he looks like a terrifying obstacle. He is 35 years old, stands 6'5", and boasts a record of 20 wins against a single defeat. The metric that jumps off the page is his power. Every man Prenga defeated has been stopped before the final bell, a 100% knockout ratio. Yet financial markets refuse to buy into that profile. Oddsmakers installed Joshua as a 1-25 overwhelming favorite. The boxing community understands exactly why the odds are so skewed. Prenga's perfect knockout streak was built almost entirely against regional journeymen, nowhere near the championship tier. Hardcore fans on forums like Reddit have even dissected his fight footage, mocking him for scoring knockouts where his punches seemingly graze the air rather than connecting with the chin. Prenga is a carefully constructed illusion. He is a paper monster, drafted specifically to look credible on television, while posing very little real threat to an elite opponent. This reveals the underlying architecture of a boxing tune-up. Promoters use a specific matchmaking matrix to find an opponent who minimizes risk while maximizing preparation. The first variable in that matrix is physical size. By matching Joshua with a 6'5" heavyweight, his camp is directly simulating the massive dimensions he will eventually face against Tyson Fury. The second required variable is aggression. Prenga's natural instinct is to march forward and throw punches, which forces Joshua to stay alert and test his defensive reflexes. The final variable is technical limitation. Because Prenga lacks elite defensive head movement, he provides a live, stationary target for Joshua to land clean combinations, allowing the former champion to systematically rebuild his shattered confidence. But there is a fatal flaw in this matchmaking logic. We only need to look back to Madison Square Garden, where Andy Ruiz Jr. proved exactly what happens when heavy favorites look past unproven underdogs. Any 250-pound man wearing small gloves can land a lucky shot. The concept of an entirely safe tune-up is a myth. It is a calculated gamble masquerading as a guarantee. On July 25th, the Jeddah Superdome will provide a high-glamour, high-pressure stage for this experiment. For Joshua, simply securing a win on points won't be enough. To prove he has fully recovered from the Dubois trauma, he has to dominate the action and dispatch Prenga early, ideally by the middle rounds. A dominant performance serves as the final trigger for the Fury contract, provided Tyson Fury also handles his parallel test in Thailand. The alternative is catastrophic. If Joshua looks hesitant, gets hurt, or somehow suffers a knockdown against a fringe contender, the public appetite for a clash with Fury dies on the spot. A poor performance here would immediately signal that his tenure as an elite, world-level threat has permanently expired. The stakes in Jeddah go far beyond a simple training exercise. Joshua is fighting for his psychological recovery, his ultimate legacy, and his very survival as an elite contender.